Davey, you'll need to sum up Saturday's game after that emphatic 2-1 win down in Ayr.
I think even if you don't touch on the Ayr game, you look at played the top two in the league at that point when they were in the top two. You went away to Falkirk, picked 3 points up. Went away to Ayr United and picked 3 points up. So huge testament to the players. I think that shows the character, resilience, the relationships they've now got as a group. It's now a team. So I think that's huge credit to the players in the change room and the coaching staff and the support staff. But going on to Saturday, I thought first half we deserved to I thought we deserved to be one up. Probably could have got another couple without working the goalie too much, but thought we were a better team. Second half they came into it a wee spell and then we changed our shape. We started a 3, went back to a 4 and then got a bit of a foothold, hit them on the counter a couple of times, and then Robbie Muirhead had a couple of chances. To be honest, Robbie should probably slip Tetty a wee bit later on in the game. Shins has made that great run. He should slip Tetty or Shins. Gets his shot and it gets blocked. But I thought he was a real threat in the counter, Robbie, on the second half on Saturday. Then he comes up with an absolute world day. So it's been a long time since I've been at the club, really. I'm trying to look back. You've had a couple of players over the years, like Stephen Kelly's no bad in the free kicks, Sean Kelly's no bad in the free kicks, Ayman Souder. There's no, it's actually quite hard to find a player that poses a threat for set plays in terms of dead balls, but Robbie's dead. It was one of the reasons we brought him into the club. He comes up with a spectacular goal to get us the 3 points, but overall, I think we deserved the 3 points.
Touching on Robbie, Davey, he's found a little bit of form over the last couple of months. How pleased are you with his output?
It only took him 6 months. I'm only kidding. Robbie Boobsy, he's worked really hard since he came into the club. I mean, extremely hard. He's done brilliant in terms of his body fat and his own conditioning. We are a Premier League club at that point coming down, so the standards within this building is a Premier League standards in terms of demands we put in the players. Robbie played a good few years in the Championship. But he worked extremely hard to get his ceiling, and I now think he's reaping the benefits of all that hard work he's been putting in the last probably 7 months. Stripped his body fats right down. He's one of the fittest in the group. He's brilliant in the press. And I just think he's now went from a good squad player, a really good squad player, to a player that's probably at this point in time one of the first names in your team sheet. I remember sitting speaking to Chip Neely, I think it was about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and I said, if I go to take Robbie off, stop me. How? I said, I need to keep him on the park because he's got a moment of magic in him. Now, for me, that's not enough just to keep him on the park. You've got to play a part in the game. And having that moment of magic isn't just enough. But I now think he's contributing it on and off the ball within the game in open play, but he's also a huge threat for us in terms of dead balls. So I'm delighted for him because he's put the hard yards in, he's worked extremely hard, he's not let his head go down when he's not started games, he's been in the squads. I just think he's been a really, really valuable signing for us this season.
I know it's disappointing to drop points against Dunfermline, but what was that the performance and result you're looking to bounce back with?
Yeah, I just think every game's going to pose different problems. It's going to bring different challenges, and I spoke to the players about it. I'm pretty big on form, and you win the game, you've got to earn the right to take the jersey away from someone, but I think we're going into a batch of games. Every game's going to be different, it's going to pose different challenges, so we'll probably be changing up. You're looking at the fixtures. I think that's us playing. Falkirk played on Friday night, and we've got 3 games jammed in between 6 days before Falkirk even play a game of football again. We've got 3 games thrown in. So we're going to have to try and utilise the squad as best as possible, but under no illusions, there's probably no room to slip up now. You're into the last 11 fixtures. I touched on it previous answer, with going away to Falkirk and going away to United and picking 3 points up. So that shows you what that group can do, but under no illusions, we've got 11 games and you need to go and try and get 3 points every single game. So we need to put boys in the park that are going to suit that game for the challenge that's going to be in front of us.
Another quick turnaround with Morton visiting on Tuesday, Davey. What are you expecting from the game?
Difficult. I think that's Dougie lost 1 in 12. So difficult game of football. What I would say is he's probably got one of the smallest squads in the league. He's probably got one of the smallest budgets in the league, but he's definitely got one of the smallest squads in the league. So he's played the Friday night. It's no a million miles away from him. We've played 16 hours, something along the lines. So two teams kind of much of a muchness in terms of playing time with each other. So it'll be a difficult game. Good structure, good shape behind the ball, good aggression. Just Dougie. It'll be Dougie. It's how Dougie plays, and that rubs off in these players, and you can see it. You can see it's a Dougie Emery team. So, aye, a hard game of football, a difficult game of football.
I know you touched upon it, Davey, but there's a lot of games coming up in the next couple of weeks. How important is it to rotate the squad and have boys have a strong squad?
I think it's 11 years I've been here now. I think we've got a strong squad. I do. But I think you've got to be careful you don't make too many changes at the same time. I've been bit before with that one, giving boys game time that haven't had as much game time as they would have liked, trying to utilise the squad, and it comes back to bite you. So for me, it's got to be a way in the team, a way out of the team. But we've got to be realistic and look at the schedule that's coming up. So there will be 2 or 3 changes, because I think you lose a wee bit of consistency if you do any more, in all honesty. I've spoke to the group of players about that. We've got 23 first team players in the changing room. 2 of them carrying knocks, so you're down to 21. I've said we're going to need everybody. So if you find yourself out of the team, it's probably not going to be through form, because if you look at the last 8 games we've not lost in 8. So it's probably no through form. It's just about the challenge that we feel Morton's going to bring, the challenge that we feel Partick Thistle's going to bring. But I do think it's important to try and utilise the squad as much as possible. But you need to keep that continuity as much as possible in the group.
Talking about the squad, Davey, Stephen Kelly made a return to the bench on Saturday. How pleasing is it to have him back?
Aye, well, Stephen, ideally this week, if we had a game, would have been taking part in the reserve game to get some minutes into his legs. So again, it's a great option for us. Stephen would probably, let's be honest, Stephen would probably still be in the starting 11 at this point in time. He started the season, we were done fairly well. It was through injury, so Stephen came out the squad through injury, and the boys that went in have done extremely well. So Stephen will need to sit and wait his opportunity. He needs game time. Ideally, the reserve fixture tonight would have been great for him if we never had a first team game, and that's been the problem. So he trains, he's a fit lad, trains well, but it's a big boost for us to get him back for the run-in, because he could prove to be he's been a big player for Livingston, but he could prove to be a big player going forward in the next, well, what we got, 13 games guaranteed at this point in time, 11 league games, quarter-final and a final, so that's a guaranteed. Hopefully it's 14, hopefully it's 15 after that, but we've got 13 games left, so we need everybody available that we can, trying to push.
Is there any update on the on additions to the squad via the loan market, or?
There's not a lot happening. There's bits and bobs, but financially I don't think there's anything we can do, to be honest. Probably might look at maybe putting one out to get some game time, but really it's not going to bring anything into the club that's going to change what we're doing in the market, to be fair. So unless my phone goes and it's a phone call offering me a top player for nothing, there's probably, we'll stick with the group we've got. But again, I think you can bring players in for the sake of bringing players in. Big promotion push doesn't always help you in the changing room. I think you've got to give the group of players that are in that changing room a lot of credit. You look at the run of form, I spoke about it, going away to Ayr, going away to Falkirk, and they've dug the results out. So I think you've got to trust what you've got in the building sometimes, and that's kind of where my head is.
And just finally, Davey, a couple of photos from the weekend was Macaulay Tate celebrating some goals, bringing Robbie and Macaulay Tate into the building. It looks like these guys, including probably put Stevie May in there, they've came in on a loan, but they've probably they've bought into what the group is all about. Aye,
for the different mindset. Stevie's an older player, and I think Stevie's just a fantastic professional. We, Macaulay and Robbie, they're very, very similar in terms of their mentality. Young players, energetic, good in the ball, want to win games of football. And do you know what? In January I felt that's what we needed, a wee bit in the window. So bring that younger player in, it's infectious, they're energetic, but the two of them can handle the ball, two of them can play. I think they've really helped the group. With Macaulay, he's just a delight to work for. He's an Scott Pittman. Just comes in, does his work and goes home, and every time smile. He's just low maintenance, high output. That kid's got a real chance. I'm delighted to work for him. Thank Hearts a lot for trusting us with him. I think he's kicking on. I think for the first game he came into where he is now, I think as a young player he's had a lot of different challenges. In terms of when you look at the fixtures, Falkirk away, different intensity, different challenge on an AstroTurf Park. Speed of the game. Dunfermline away on, let's be honest, it was a bit of a bog, wasn't a great park. Again, he rose to the challenge, and then Ayr United brings a different, from Dunfermline away to Falkirk away. Ayr United's a different game. It was probably a lot more direct on a difficult park against a real physical team that know the league inside out. So I've been really happy with Robbie's, Macaulay's, how he's played in these different types of games. I think his progression, I think he's kicked on. Robbie Fraser, I think, has really helped us as well. I think the two of them have been huge signing for us, and it just shows you the relationships you can have with the bigger clubs in terms of the players that they always speak about it and say, I think you sometimes get a better level of player in January than what you do in the summer in terms of loan. The loan window in the summer, it's probably boys that are only going to be around the first team, whereas I think Hearts and Rangers have kept Robbie and Macaulay around the first team because there maybe be game time for them and around there. Then they get to the January and they reassess it and they look to do what's right for the player. So I think sometimes in the January you've always got that better chance of maybe just getting a player that's closer to first team football than what you maybe do in the summer, and that's proven to be the case with both players.
I know we said finally, Davey, but there's been, I know he never played on Saturday, but Harry Stone, there was Macaulay Tate coming through the Hearts B. There seems to be a wee bit of, you know, these guys that have played the B team football stepping into men's football, and then
Robbie Fraser as well.
Robbie Fraser, I think you can see a wee bit of progress from the B teams in the game. Yeah,
I think we tried to, fans maybe don't know this, but we tried to get a B team in last year, but we were quite happy to start. We never had the finances to buy 250 tickets every game, that type of thing, to try and get in the lowland league. So we were quite happy to drop down in the pyramid and start in the lowest league and work our way through and hopefully get ourselves to the lowland league within a 3-4 year period. But ultimately our application never got accepted. I think the clubs have got to vote for it. I feel it's a pathway that you need to go down as a club. I think it's the best pathway to men's football. I do think league expansion would help that in terms of the Premiership and maybe only two leagues below that. I think that really helps. That would help with the player development. I think there's a lot of good Scottish players playing in the, well, you look at just use Robbie and Macaulay, for example. They're getting game time in the Scottish Champ. If it was a bigger Premier League, they would be getting game time in the Scottish Premier League, assuming we were in the Premier League at that point. But I feel playing men's football as early as possible, as long as you can step up to the test, I think that's the way forward for any pathway to any player, and every player's different. But I think the lowland league's a great example. There's good players, it's a real test, and it prepares them for life in first team football. So I think the lowland league's got to take a lot of credit. And there's some big teams down there, use East Kilbride for an example. Good facilities, good club, good investment, which then's enhanced the product within the lowland league. Local club Broxburn, very, very similar also. So I think the quicker you can get your younger players out playing B team football at a competitive level, I think it gives them a good grounding coming into a first team environment.
I think even for Livingston, Tommy Sharp, Sam Colbert.
Tommy's a wee bit older, I remember. Tommy had went and played Lowland League, so Tommy was in the Lowland League with Stirling before he came here. Tommy's now turning 22. Probably for me, 22, you're probably at that age, you've got a decision to make where you're going to be full-time, part-time if you're not playing. Whereas kids at 17, 18, 19, I think it's a great test for them. Tommy's a good example, done a wee bit in the Lowland League, then he's come into Livingston. Tommy's kicked on massively for where he was when he first came into where he is now, but he's probably just at that age where he needs to go out and find his way now, whereas the younger kids, 17, 18, 19, if they can get out playing lower league, I think the boy, Big Callan that we let go leading him, Big Callan's at Gala, so let go for here, and he's went and he's playing full-time, part-time football in the lower league at a young age, and I think Callan's maybe one of the ones you might see a 2 step backwards, maybe at least a step forward in the future with him. So I do think it's important that you get the pathway, and I think the B team are definitely a pathway forward. I just don't, we're in this reserve league and I think it could be done a lot better. How can we not run a competitive reserve league on a Friday night or a Thursday night and it's against the teams that are in your league? Like how it used to be. So how can we not do a version of our own kind of lowland league within the B team structure? No, I've kind of just thrown that out there, but there's got to be a better pathway for these kids. But the Lowland League is a good pathway, and I think the partnership agreements that are coming up, that are now coming out, will help clubs and it will help kids. So use Sam Kilbert as an example. I've had a partnership agreement, let's say Dick Campbell, East 5. I could put Sam to East 5, and then if I was needing Sam back here, I could bring him straight back. So there's that, or I could have a partnership agreement with Broxburn. So I give them the ones, the ones that I'm talking about getting in January. I can maybe get them in the summer now because the parent club would have the recall right to bring the player back.
And then you can go back out.
They can go back out again. So I think the partnership is progress for these younger players to get them out playing more consistently.